I went to play shuffleboard on it, but there was a baby sitting on it, and it pissed me off.
It looked very viscous. It looked suspiciously viscous.
Should have read the carton.
There's big things going on right now. There have been some shakeups in Chicago beer.
I got no other hopes or dreams. This is it. If this fails, then it's all over. It's all downhill from here.
Podcast life, beer, pot, crack cocaine, meth.
Nope, absolutely not.
I want Taco Bell.
Like a 5-year-old.
Dude, we're going to Taco Bell. Dude, we're going to Taco Bell.
Oh my God.
I got one. There's a map right. Is there one near here? Yes.
All right, well, welcome to Crafty Brewers, Tales Behind Craft Beer, the podcast that will increase your enjoyment of craft or local beer, and most importantly, the people who make it. So on today's episode, we are going to give you a mini beer review of the beers that we're drinking tonight. And being our final episode of the year, a major announcement. How do I know it's a major announcement? Because Cody typed it in all capital letters. That's how I know. We'll also share our plans for 2025, and we have a big favor to ask you because normally we don't ask you for anything but your undying love to fill our empty souls. But today we have another favor. I'm Brian Noonan, beer drinker, Hellraiser. With me, not as always lately, but as of always before, is the Mamacita of malt. I can't even remember anymore.
No, it's okay. Purveyor of porters tonight.
Purveyor of porters, the Mamacita of malt, the high priestess of hops, the what did I used to say?
Femme fatale of fermentation.
There you go, femme fatale of fermentation.
Siren of suds.
Siren of suds.
The region to promote
remember.
podcasting.
That's it. Anyway, she's Catherine Valleau. Hi, welcome back.
What about me? I'm Cody
Well,
Goff.
I was saying hello, and then I was going to say, and of course, our executive producer, who has been playing with his hair since his camera went on, trying to make sure it looks good. The most vain executive producer on the planet, Cody Goff.
I would like to say, I didn't even get a word in to say hello before Cody was like, what about me?
Cody's very thirsty.
Let's fight each other about who gets to talk first, Catherine. Oh, man.
I can't do that. I'm far away now.
That's fair.
So this is our final episode of 2024, the big season ender. Very, very exciting. We'll be back on January 2nd with Dovetail Brewing, which is a phenomenal episode, so you don't want to miss that. So, Cody, where do we want to go from here? What would you like to do?
Well, we can start with the beers, and my beer that I'm enjoying today is a fresh bottle of water because I'm about to be taking muscle relaxers. This is breaking news as of an hour ago. I put on the rundown. I'm like, let's all drink beer and review it. And I have had a shoulder issue. I just got back from orthopedics. They dry needled me. I've got bruises. I need an ice pack, and I'll be on muscle relaxers in about an hour. So I'm alcohol free, but my wife popped open a 2024 Proprietor's blend of Bourbon County Stout, and I had one sip, and it's quite good. And if anyone's curious about my thoughts on the whole Goose Island Bourbon County Stout lineup this year, I did write an extensive, very overly descriptive blog post.
It was extensive.
Very nerdy, gets super into the science on craftybrewerspod.com. I'll link to that in today's show notes. I was happy with it. Thank you for taking a look at that.
It's a great piece, and it not only is it like well written and extensive, but it does give you an opportunity to nerd out over a thing that you're super passionate about. You love a soy saucy beer.
All right, purveyor of porters, what are you enjoying?
So I have a peanut butter porter tonight because I was thinking of you two Yahoos the last time that we were talking about peanut butter porters. I have from Fort Myers Brewing Company. I have their peanut butter porter. I actually haven't even had a sip of it. I opened it about 15 minutes ago. Clearly because it is a dark beer. Obviously because we have talked and we have all educated everybody is like we need to let these warm up a little bit. They need to be about 10 degrees warmer than they are when they come out of the fridge. It poured really nicely. I actually took a video of it pouring. Like its head retention was beautiful and all of those like really, really lovely things, and dark beer knows no climate change or no season or none of those things.
Hang on.
Really, what?
I know you're going to be sipping that in a second, but you like to poo-poo some of the adjunct heavy stouts.
Excuse
and yet
you.
A peanut butter porter is fine?
Pardon you. I do not poo-poo. I poo-poo nothing. What I will do is I will science out of things. I don't mind adjunct heavy stouts. What I mind, I have to put this down because I'm such a hand talker. and my cord is stuck for my Time Life headset. What I have sometimes an issue with in dark beers is when you age these things. We talked about this last Christmas too. When you age these things for so long and you put so many adjuncts in there that they start to fall off and you don't get them. But I think when you have one, like this is a peanut butter porter. It isn't a peanut butter, coconut, banana, cacao, extra vanilla porter. It's a peanut butter porter. And on the nose, because really we should also always smell beer. We don't talk enough about like sticking your face in the glass and really getting a good whiff of things. On the nose, this is smell that Lake Michigan goodness.
I smell fluoride right there.
You won't smell fluoride for much longer, my friend. So enjoy your teeth while you have them.
I'm going straight to the grave after this one.
Oh, why do you two mock me with your smelling?
Oh, sorry. Anosmia. This one is heavy on there's so much peanut. It smells like a Reese's peanut butter cup on the nose, which I think is so, so great. I also will swish a porter around in my mouth for a while. It's delicious. Wow. It's roasty. It's toasty. It's peanut buttery. A lot of peanut butter on the back end and back here. A lot of roast up front. Yeah. And then like that little astringency that you kind of want from the acid that you're going to get from any kind of roasted malt, the one that like hits you here. Yeah. They're a little acidic. Porters, they're always a little bit acidic because it's that thing that coffee has. It's how coffee's acidic.
Are you on
roasting?
Are you on a boat right now? The camera's rocking up and down a lot.
No,
another earthquake.
Calm down, everyone. No, because you're not here to yell at me about hitting a table. I'm like resting on my desk, so I'll just stand like this the whole time, not leaning on anything. No, I'm not in a boat. Boats are terrifying. Also, there's gators in the water. I'll just try to stay still.
That sounds like a delicious porter. I'm jealous. I wish I could drink some right now.
It's honestly delightful. And if you ever make it down to the swamp, we'll go and we'll have some. This is actually something they brew year round, which, kudos to breweries that are located in, this kind of climate that truly commit to brewing balanced portfolios all the time. Because really, you could just sit here and do nothing but drink lagers all day long because you're like, it's 98 million degrees. No, hit me with a dark beer. Bri, what do you got?
I have a new one for me this year. This is Hop Butcher's Minted. It is an imperial stout, and it is made with
oh my God,
chocolate and Frango mint oil.
Oh my God.
I saw the description of this, and I said, I have to have it. And I've had one already. It's like, it's a little heavy. It's a 10.4, I think. But you definitely get it's not sweet, but you do get that mint. You get a little chocolate. It had a beautiful head that poured all over my desk. But yes, so Hop Butcher minted, and I had to go far and wide to find it.
It sounds I forgot to share the ABV of mine. It sounds absolutely fantastic. And I don't know, seller one, save me one. Mine's a 5.4, which I respect on a dark beer. Like, thank you for being something that's sessionable that I could drink 3 of and be okay. Right. Nice.
This one has tasting notes of cool mint, the holidays, and some sort of chocolate. The printing's too small and it's an italics.
Yeah, well, we're all old now.
So yeah, 10.5 ABV, but It is minted, and there's a little Frango mint. I grew up eating Frango mints, and
so
you do get the Frango mint oil in there. So it is fantastic.
Incredible. Nice.
Is that goes well with beer? Mint beer? I'm thinking mint beer.
Your Frango mints are that dark chocolate mint kind of flavor. It's not like peppermint. But it's really good, and the chocolate that comes through is dark chocolate.
Because if you take a Frango mint like a psychopath, like I do when I eat them, you can actually eat just the bitter chocolate on the outside, and then you can eat the green inside. Please don't ask about how I eat a Butterfinger. It's not anything that I'm proud of, but yeah, the Frango mints are pretty bitter on the outside and then wonderfully minty on the inside.
Please, I watched my 4-year-old eat an Oreo, and there's 12 different ways you can eat an Oreo. It's remarkable.
I watched your 4-year-old eat an Oreo the other day too, and drink like 3/4 of a gallon of chocolate milk.
Yes. Well, you had very chocolatey chocolate milk. So
listen, you tell me the kids like chocolate milk. I buy chocolate milk. I don't, I'm not whipping it up with a little, here's some Nestle Quick in there. I'm buying chocolate milk.
No,
Only
this
the
was not
good shit.
Ovaltine. This was like whole milk, but like
No,
more
it was
whole.
1%. It was 1% milk.
It looked very viscous. It looked suspiciously viscous.
God,
Should have read
gross.
the carton. It was 1% chocolate milk, but they don't skimp on the chocolate.
We've been over this. We're all getting old. I can't read anymore. So
All right. Well, I know this is chocolate milk for me because it has that nice chocolate milk flavor. And I liked. I'm gonna say this just because it's fun. You know how much I like tagging out with your kids. Your son said, sometimes I have my chocolate milk and I call it a beer. And I laughed and I said, you know what? Sometimes I have a beer and I call it chocolate milk so Debbie doesn't get mad at me. And they love it.
So as the person that's childless, sometimes I just drink when I want to.
Yeah, I do too. But, it's nice. It's nice to, entertain the 4-year-olds with wild stories of my
they're great.
antics.
well, I know that
Back to the beer talk.
We
So especially
provided
to talk about your family.
some amazing insights about beer in this episode, and if you appreciate that, then you owe us, frankly, listener. This is where we're at. No, I wanted to do a quick call to action. Look, I would like to invite you to take a listener survey so we can make the show better. This is the first time we've run a listener survey. This is very important for us to make the show better because we don't know who you are. We don't know who is listening. We don't know if it's 700 of Catherine's friends that just want to hear Catherine, in which case, I don't know.
It's
we don't
not
know if
that.
It's
It's not that. They've had enough. It's not that.
we don't know if everyone who's listening is a brewer. And we don't need to explain some of this stuff to you. We don't know if you just like to drink beer. There's so many things we don't know. So I have designed a very short, very concise listener survey. Just go to craftybrewerspod.com/survey, or just go to craftybrewerspod.com. You'll find a link.
Now, let me ask you this, Cody, about this survey, because you said we want to know who you are. We want to know where you live. We're not harvesting people's data to sell it like some scumbag black hat operation, are we?
No, this is literally a Google form. And I'm going to ask you like 5 to 10 questions tops, just like to generally get an idea who is our audience. So yeah, just go ahead and take it. If you're a brewer and you're listening, particularly, please take it. And actually, if you're a man, do you know that just women are more likely statistically to take surveys? So we could get really skewed survey data back. You always have to kind of like account for like you just assume that if it's like 60-40 female to male, then you're actually like your audience is actually more 50-50. It's like some weird things.
That's weird.
I don't know, statistically, women are more likely to take the surveys because they're nicer. I think. I don't know how that works. That are to me anyway. But yeah, go to craftybrewerspod.com/survey. Don't give me that look. And
listen, there's a lot of us in perimenopause. None of us are nice right now.
No. Brian gave me the look.
Oh, I gave you a look too.
Oh, I just saw his.
Rude.
But to be fair,
you're just used to me. You're just used to me giving you looks.
His head is bigger on my screen right now.
My head is bigger in real life.
Oh, well, there you go. There's the call to action for asking things.
Okay.
And then there was one other piece of business, I guess, business update.
News?
I want to open this business news because this is my fault. So as we all know, Catherine moved to Florida earlier this year. And when she did that, we said, well, can we still record like in breweries? How do we do this? And I said, well, we'll try it and see how it goes. And we tried it and it didn't go great for me. It ended up just being hard logistically to get the recordings to work. So hopefully you've enjoyed the last 10 to 15 episodes where we've done the hybrid thing. They were an insane amount of work on the back end by me. And unfortunately, I have a wife and kids and family and job and other things. So I can't spend the time. So moving forward.
You rethink that sentence. The unfortunately should come after, because the way you said it, unfortunately, I have a wife and kids and I'm busy. That's the fortunate part.
I'm unfortunately busy, fortunately because it's good reasons. But anyway, the point is that to simplify things in 2025, you're now going to find Catherine and Brian and me in separate places. Catherine's not going away. Brian and I are not going away. Brian and I will be with Brian conducting on-site interviews in Chicago. which Catherine will join us for whenever she's in town if you want to.
Mhm.
And on our social media channels, Catherine is going to be the queen of social media, which you already are, I think. But
I don't know about that. Everybody should watch more then. If that's the case, watch more.
But you have really cool things planned for socials. Like, what are you going to do?
I do. I think, well, there's a lot to talk about with this. There's a lot to unpack in this. Not just like, oh, we're not doing that. Like, I think it's important for folks to understand that this is something that, like, when Brian came and was like, this is the idea that I have. And I was like, yes, 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 yes. It became something that you got involved with out of the goodness of your heart. This is something that you're doing for fun and for knowledge and for connection, like, and for
sometimes free beer
and sometimes free beer, right?
Less and less, though. I'm finding the Brewers are getting a little tight with some of the suds. But anyway,
listen,
that's
man,
neither here nor there.
It's a tough. We could talk forever about what's happening in beer right now because it is a lot. It's something that I'll cover in the socials, but I think it's important for folks to understand how much time it takes to edit an episode when I like zoom myself on in remotely. And some of this fault also there's fault is not even the wrong word for it, but some of the explanation and kind of reasoning lies on my end too. We knew that moving was going to be a challenge and getting me in remotely was going to be a challenge. The other thing is I am a word stepper. I step on words, which does not make your job easier. It makes your job considerably more difficult. No matter how hard I try to not step on words, I feel like if I don't get the thought started, that I'll forget it. And so I think part of my human makeup, no matter how much I try to suppress that part, it makes it hard to separate sound. And that is part of Cody's job, is to like separate conversation. And I wasn't making that any easier for him. And I recognize that as like a loud hand talker that bangs tables and interrupts. And I don't mean to do any of those things. They just come with this. And that's just the way it is. So I think the new format of things will be good. And it'll also give us an opportunity to both connect, I think even more personally, with the brewers and the breweries that you go to. So I think that on your end, I think that's going to be great. And then I would like, and maybe if that survey is not written yet, maybe throw in a question of like, what do you want to see on social? What kind of segments would you like to see? I mean, if you're watching this now, just slide into my DMs and let us know. But, some things that I would like to get into are what's happening in the beer world, because there's a lot of things happening. And some of it isn't always like this one released a beer. Like, no, there's big things going on right now. There have been some shakeups in Chicago beer. Beer world is about to get a little bit crazier with tariffs. That's going to affect your beer.
Wait, I thought it was going to make it cheaper.
Only eggs.
Just going to be
only
cheaper.
Eggs. Only eggs.
China's paying for the beer.
Only eggs. They're paying for only the eggs are getting cheaper. We hope.
Teasing.
And if not, then whatever. I would like to get into more geeky sciencey stuff, and do maybe some style guidelines, because that's always, when you go out, sometimes ordering beer, when you see a beer description on a menu and it's like notes of Norfolk pine with tangerine spirits, you're like, that doesn't tell me anything. But if I know stylistically what I should be looking for in this, and we can go over like BJCP guidelines, like all of these things, and we can just dive into little stuff in like more bite-sized chunks. And since I am the shortest of the three of these, I am the bite-sized chunk.
Well, and thank you for recognizing behind the scenes about a production, because it's sizable, and I do it for fun. The other thing is that staying current is going to be something that you're uniquely positioned to do. Because like Brian and I, we're sitting here in late 2024 and we have recorded our January episodes. Like they're going to be a month out. So if something insane happens, or a brewery closes or something, like you're not going to hear that on the podcast. But on social media, if the government passes some tariff that raises the price of aluminum by like 50% and suddenly no one can buy cans, Catherine can jump on social and that's going to be a news bulletin, which is very exciting. So there's actually way more reason to follow us on social and check out the really cool stuff from Catherine. Brian and I have always talked in front of you and behind your back, like about just how we love your perspective of the industry, because you ran a shop.
I was waiting for something way worse than that. We always talked behind your back.
Well, there is worse stuff, but we also do talk about your unique perspective as a former as someone in the industry.
Thank God she came on and our foot's in the door, and now she's just off in the swamp.
Who do you think sent all the gators down there?
So rude.
Is it?
To send gators? Yeah, I have a small dog.
Well, if you believe them, if you believe that I actually could send gators.
I thought even if I believed in gators. I was like, what? Those?
They're
I believe
dinosaurs.
in science.
Those gators are dinosaurs.
Yeah,
and they're terrifying.
They're real.
I've come face to face with a couple gators.
To tell.
Terrifying.
Wow. Who's going to pay for the gators? I wonder.
China.
No, but Cody's point is apt because Catherine is like now the breaking news arm of the Crafty Brewers podcast. So you're like the MSNBC, CNN. You'll have the breaking news. You'll be popping in with whatever happens in the industry.
I guess my biggest question is, do I get a little hat and then have the little piece of paper that says scoop on the side of it? Hey, coming to you live.
Press, you should get a little scroll banner for underneath you.
No. It can't be little. It has to be at least this big.
Listen, the bigger the press pass, the more important the podcast.
There you go.
Biggest press passes ever made. I'm going to just wear this to Fobab on Saturday. Can I just wear this on? I'm going to wear this on Saturday.
100% wear it on Saturday. And you can tell people that I made it. And there might be 1 to 3 people at Fobab that still remember who I am. Possibly 4.
Oh, yeah. We're recording this before Fobab. Spoiler alert.
I was like, man, Cody breaks his own rules.
Sorry. We're not releasing a Fobab episode. Sorry. I'm just going to get drunk. I mean, to sample beer responsibly.
It's all going to taste like soy sauce. Soy sauce.
Well, those are the major announcements. But then I also had penciled in that we were going to talk about maybe what we're excited about for 2025. But as a transition, I need to ask, I didn't pay attention to the Florida election, but Catherine, I was just listening to, there's a 4-part series on Freakonomics Radio. So by the way, this is our final episode of 2024, so we're taking about a month off. If you are dying for podcasts, good podcasts in the meantime, Freakonomics recently did a 4-part episode talking about essentially the cannabis industry, but how it's disrupting the alcohol industry, the beer industry in particular, which we've talked about a bunch. And they had started this series as a series on beer and the beer, like economics of beer, and then pivoted because they're like, there's too much to talk about with weed. So where I'm at, they were talking about how basically most, like 75% of people selling weed aren't making any money. That the economics are just broken right now, but a lot of people are really hoping that Florida will open up as a market. And I believe it was on the ballot this November, a couple weeks ago. So was that approved?
No. And here's why. Here's the thing. So there's a lot to talk about when it comes to the topic of weed, small farms. Like there's small weed, there's big weed. And then of course there's pot and beverages, there's THC beverages, and that we've talked about together. Florida had 2 different amendments that were going up before the state constitution. And one was reproductive rights and the other one was legalizing marijuana. Florida, being the state that it is, has they have this rule when it comes to voting that anything has to pass. Anything. It can't just be like 51%, which would be a majority. You have to pass by 60% here just for fun. So reproductive rights got 58%, which is, if anyone is into math, and God knows I'm not, but I do know that 58% is above 50, which does mean it wins. But it is not 60, and you need 60% of a vote to win here. And then weed passed was defeated because it got 57% of the vote. It was horrifically telling, but also interesting for the amount of I really got to stop rocking my table. I'm very sorry. It's very, very wiggly. I can try to do this without touching my table. There's so much disinformation out there in the world about marijuana. And I found here that like there are smoke shops, there are vape shops, there are CBD shops, there's Delta 9 shops. Like it's everywhere, but they don't want to legalize it. It's they'll have all the strains, they'll have all this stuff, they'll have everything else, but they don't want to make it legal because what that means to the other percentage that didn't vote for it, right? To get us above 60%. No one seems to understand what legalizing marijuana will do for a state economy and for things like that. I feel like the beer industry right now is like a lava lamp where it's like blah, 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 right? And like we're just morphing all over the place. And a lot of small breweries really want to experiment with different things. And that's not just for the sake of experimentation. That's because consumers are changing. And we have beaten this horse beyond a pulp to say that like market share in beer is changing. Consumer behavior and consumer patterns are changing. And if small breweries need to work in additives and they need to work in adjuncts like that because they need to reach a broader market, and then the government is stifling that growth. I mean, we're probably going to have a little E anyway, but that's fucked up. It just is.
A little E?
Yeah, for explicit. The little E.
Yeah.
You know, like rap albums used to parental advisory. And it's something that's it makes me crazy to think about how when we're trying to also encourage people to open small businesses, we want this whole idea of like, no, you can open a business and like we want you to do those things, but we're not going to let you do that. We're going to handcuff you along the way. So you can do the small business, but you can't do what you need to do to get more consumers in the door. And it's just, it's absurd. It's absurd. And I think we weren't the only state. Never mind. This wasn't the only state.
You live there. You're complicit.
No,
you're a Florida voter.
You know what? I did get my license. You're not wrong.
There you go.
I did, but I got my license specifically to vote for reproductive rights in favor, obviously, and in favor of weed and in favor of the lady that didn't win. We can't keep handcuffing the alcohol industry. And that's what we're going to keep doing. But I don't think this was the only state that had it on the ballot. But I think it was like this, and there was another state that had weed on the ballot that didn't pass. But for every other state that did have legalizing weed on the ballot, it did pass. But there were like two that didn't. And the swamp was one of them.
Can I get high and do muscle relaxants?
Absolutely not.
Muscle relaxants will make you high.
Ah, that's right.
If you do
can't
them
get
right.
Dude, I think double high for you would be not. It sounds dangerous.
You're making me want to hit my pen all this talk about weed. It sounds delicious.
Just go write something down, take notes, and use a substitute pen.
Yeah.
You're having a substitute beer. Use a substitute pen. Just write something down.
By the way, Freakonomics gets into some other weird stuff like that, like none of what dispensaries or any marijuana operation gets is tax deductible, which means sometimes they're paying on top of federal and state taxes, like they're paying like 75%.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's crazy. So anyway.
And as somebody who's related to a small boutique dispensary who is fighting big corporate weed every day with his small green organic, yes, it is very tough for those small entrepreneurs, especially the guys that grow their own. And it's tough.
It's a weird business. Sorry.
Back to beer. Brian, what are you excited about for beer for 2025?
For the podcast or for life?
Podcast, life, beer, pot, crack cocaine, meth.
Nope, absolutely not.
I am I'm excited to keep the show going. We've been getting, thankfully, really good feedback from all the brewers that we've talked to, and so I'm looking forward to expanding. Maybe we take a road trip down to see Catherine, and I know my brother is in Anna Maria Island. I know there's breweries all along the coast there, but I'm eager to expand our reach a little bit. I'm eager to get the brewers who we've been chasing since day one to come on the show. Some of them have fallen in line and we've already recorded a couple of them for after the first of the year, which is going to be great. And I'm excited about the new scope of the endeavor with the podcast and the social media stuff and the different segments that are going to be coming out between the podcast episodes. So it's all I'm excited about how this is going to evolve. I didn't know I couldn't have expected that it would go as well as it has for the last year just about year and a half. So yeah I'm looking forward to that. And what else am I looking forward to? Nothing. I got no other hopes or dreams. This is it. If this fails, then it's all over. It's all downhill from here.
And on that happy note,
it's the holidays.
I mean, raise sunshine. Cody, what are you excited for in 2025? In the year of our Lord, 2025?
I'm good. I'm looking forward to meeting more brewers and spending less time editing. No offense, Catherine, but the last edit that I did was faster, and I'm a busy guy with a lot of interests. So like I said,
weed and needles,
book club and woodworking and
stouts,
all kinds of things. Babies,
stuff will be done eventually. Stuff that woodworking at the one table I've been working on for 2 years now will eventually be done. The top is done. I just need to put legs on it. That's the hard part.
So you have a flat piece of wood.
But it's really flat.
It's beautiful.
And it's really well finished.
But have you seen, it's so flat.
Dude, I sanded it down to 1,000 grit.
Did you really?
Yes.
Shit.
Yes. And it is a 7-foot long, between 2 and 3 foot wide, depending on the curve, walnut table. And it is sanded and finished and beautiful and wood oiled up and just slick and ready to go. That's what she said.
I went to play shuffleboard on it, but there was a baby sitting on it. It pissed me off.
Rude. Slide that baby down that shuffleboard table. I was going to make some kind of wood and wood oil jokes, but I decided to grow up.
We didn't. That was all that was on my agenda. Do you guys want to ask each other your final questions?
The final four?
Yeah, what's the hill you'll die on, Brian? What will you never do on this podcast? What will you never do on this podcast?
I would have said drink a sour, but I did that at Horse Thief Hollow because they had one. Here's another. I'm not going to spoil it, but in an upcoming episode, I also drink something that I had gone in telling the brewer that I did not enjoy. And after a little question and answer before the show started, they figured out maybe why I didn't like the one I had and brought me other samples that were delicious.
West Coast?
Nope.
You'll have to listen to find out.
You'll have to listen to win.
I'm gonna text you when we leave, when we get off.
Yeah, we'll tell you when we're off. We'll tell you when the recording stops. But we're so yeah, that's I don't know what hill I have to die on anymore because I'm not brewing it. I will still not drink a Goza, and I will still, for the most part, not drink. I hate the salty nastiness of a Goza. Why don't I just open a High Life and then pour a salt shaker in my mouth? That would be about the same thing.
Nobody's going to kink shame on this podcast.
I'm just listen. So there will be no Gozas.
Would you drink a ramen flavored beer?
I would kill the next person. I let the first person who gave me a ramen flavored beer live only because I like them so much. But now the gauntlet has been thrown. Anybody tries to feed me that kind of swill, that's right. It's over.
So the hill you'll die on is no Gozas.
No Gozas.
All right, cool.
Yeah, I guess we'll go with that one. No Gozas.
We're going to do all four of you. Do you want to do one for one, Cody, or do you want to do okay.
I figure we just mix and match.
Well, let Catherine answer her first one. The hill she'll die on.
Oh, there's only one brewery in Chicago I want to interview.
Ooh. Which one?
And you guys won't interview them either. You know exactly which one.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Right, okay.
Cheers.
Yeah.
Cheers. Cheers.
Oh, that was awesome.
Cheers.
Yeah. Oh, man.
Wait a minute. Here, I'm thinking about who we have on the schedule, who we're reaching out to. Like, yeah.
No,
okay,
you won't do it either.
Yeah, we haven't seen it in a while. Oh gosh. Yeah. Go to Off the Clock Beer. I am gonna say, all winter it's still gonna be all the Goose Island Bourbon County Stouts. And am I drinking a 14% beer after work in the winter? Yeah, sometimes on a weeknight. That's fine. I'm good with it. And Revolution's Deepwood series. Like I'm just gonna be drinking stouts. It's my go-to.
Well, you're a grown-up. You can do kind of whatever you want.
Kind of.
I mean, a little.
I'm kind of grown up, and I also have kids, so I can only do what I want. So
that's true. Brian, what's your off the clock beer?
My go-to beers now, I'm getting into like Fistmas and Holiday Box and Breckenridge Christmas Ale and all of those as I go from now until January. And I kind of count this Frango as a holiday beer because Frango mints were always out at the holidays. So I'm going to count this as a holiday beer too. So I'm looking, that's my go-to beer now. It's going to be something holiday-ish. Because I do love the Christmas ales. Like I said, Breckenridge Christmas Ale is unbelievable. Deschutes, how do you say the Deschutes? Deschutes Jubile Ale. Jubile Ale is phenomenal.
Nice.
So a lot of those Christmassy drinks to put me in the spirit or at least help me pass out till the holidays are over.
So, on that
Cheers.
note, I really want to hear what your go-to is now, Catherine, now that you're in Florida, what you can get regularly. But on the spirit of holidays, my other go-to all December, in moderation, eggnog and brandy. I make a mean eggnog and brandy. 2 fingers of brandy, eggnog, and it's got to be Oberweis eggnog if you're in the Chicago area. It's the best eggnog in the world.
You want to talk about viscous?
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. And a little bit of whipped cream and nutmeg sprinkled on the top every single time. I just got my shoulder done so I can start going to the gym again so I can justify any of what I just said.
Absolutely.
But I want to know about you. What is your go-to in Florida?
There's what we kind of have found to be our local is Point Bell Brewing. We love them. Their sour program is great. Whatever they put out in their sour program, I enjoy. I honestly have not been doing as much beer. I will say though, one of the cool things, Distill, you can find Distill down here.
Nice.
I can find Illuminated.
Wow.
I
Awesome.
know. I found some
That's
Illuminated
cool.
and I texted Jason Monk, who we interviewed.
Yes,
and I was like, look what I just found. And he wrote me back, I'm not even sure if that is in code because you're very far away, but get it. And I was like, okay, yeah. And it was still great. We've been looking, I look around for local stuff a lot. Point Bell, this brewery, they do not do distribution. So it's taproom sales only. They do can in their taproom. They have done a hard tea, which I know that makes me part of the problem and not part of the solution. But they've done a hard tea that is absolutely out of this world, so good and not sweet. And it's like 4.5%. It's just easy. It's really, really lovely. And they just do a really, really nice job of it. We also, I would be remiss to not mention drinking a beer for the brewery that Christopher is brewing at.
Wait, what?
Yeah.
Where's he brewing?
Chris Valleau is he's doing some brewing at a brewery in Cape Coral, just one day a week. He's keeping fingers in the pie.
Nice. Cape Coral?
Yeah, Cape
What's
Coral.
it called?
So Scotty's Beer Works.
Wow.
Nice.
Yeah. Really, really solid, very classic portfolio, right? Like American Pale Ale, a couple of IPAs, a couple of hazies, an amber, a brown. Like, Brian, honestly, it's probably your dream spot because
Nice.
It's like, these are my classic styles and this is it. And it's just very like, here is your lager, here is your blonde, here is but it's all very good and it's very well done.
Nice.
And so, so now some fingers in the pie down here, which is nice.
Good.
He's got to keep his chops up.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I mean, really, I can't, honestly, got to keep those chops up. And I think everybody knows that I brought my my wine collection with me. So I'm just slowly working my way. I brought my wine. I can't find good wine. So I brought mine with me.
They don't make swamp wine? They're not.
They do. That's all I can find.
Okay.
Is vin de swamp. So, I've been
Sounds
working my way
fragrant
through that.
and lovely.
Oh, it's
That's
fragrant.
gross.
All right.
Well, I just realized our third question is completely not applicable to any of us because it's what have you brewed that you never brew again?
No, I can answer that.
Well, I know.
Oh, yeah. Catherine can answer it.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
I sure can.
I can answer it in a very off color way.
We already did that in our first episode with Chris, didn't we?
Do you know how many? That's 33 episodes ago. And I have 0 brain cells left after 2024. I would never, ever again put like just tablespoons of lavender in a beer because you're just going to end up drinking potpourri.
Ugh.
Listen, it sounded French and delightful at the time.
I brewed up something right after dinner that I would never do again.
Do you also go to Taco Bell?
Oh my
No.
God.
Not tonight.
You and your fucking chalupas.
Maybe that's the thing we'll never do again.
You know what we're never going to do again? We're never, ever, ever going to let you just demand that we go to Taco Bell at 10 o'clock at night after drinking all day in Milwaukee. Like a 5-year-old.
Dude, we're going to Taco Bell. Dude, we're going to Taco Bell.
Oh my God.
I got one. There's a map right. Is there one near here? Yes. Yeah, I know there's a Taco Bell. That was us on the way back from Milwaukee Day.
No, that wasn't us. That was you. I don't want a part of the us.
It was
I will say, though, I had not eaten Taco Bell in ages until that episode. And I was like, okay. So I've been back once since our Milwaukee sojourn to a Taco Bell.
All right. Okay.
Yeah.
Well,
but there's a burrito place 3 blocks from my house that makes a serious burrito. So
well, and also you're not supporting corporate, so that's great. Right. What is our final question? Our final question is
your beer.
I got it. Ready? I want to know your favorite holiday. Could be Thanksgiving, could be Christmas. I want to know your favorite holiday dish and the beer that you're pairing with it.
I will say it would be Christmas, and Debbie and Molly do a lot of baking. So they make unbelievable cookies and stuff. And right now, tonight, if I had all those, it would be a hot butcher minted with Christmas cookies. And I would be a happy, happy boy.
Yes. Co-delicious.
Whew, I answered it. And honestly, I'm drinking this here and I'm like, I need something sweet to go with this. You know, maybe a bread pudding, maybe something else.
Did anyone catch my nickname I just gave him? It can't be the first time I called him Co-delicious.
Wow. I never called him that.
Well, I would expect you not to, but I would like you to now.
I call him Co-decoction.
Pretty good, actually. I don't have like a individual favorite, though. When I was little, I would just get a big old plate and just cover the whole thing in mashed potatoes and put some gravy on it and eat the whole thing. Like I would eat, I'd be like 10 years old and I would eat 12 servings of mashed potatoes. But my pairing thing with Christmas is whether we're having whatever meat we're having, turkey, prime rib, whatever it is, roast beef kind of stuff, and mashed potatoes, and whatever other side, everyone else is drinking wine. Maybe somebody's got some water. Maybe somebody's got a beer. I just want milk. I want a glass of milk, like a big glass of milk with my Thanksgiving or Christmas dinner every time.
See, and I was going to say,
we will allow it.
With the potatoes and the meat, I was thinking, a nice crisp Pilsner or a Helles Lager.
No, it's so smooth in my mouth. It just like goes down. It's got the meat and potatoes taste. And I just want a glass of milk to wash it down. 2%.
All that milk and you're still having bone trouble.
Let's grow up.
I drank giant glasses of milk through high school with every meal I had.
I did too.
No, he's unbreakable. He's going to be like the movie.
Am I going to be like Samuel L. Jackson or Bruce Willis?
You're Cody L. Jackson right now.
Oh my.
Say it then.
I have had it with these motherfucking snakes on this motherfucking plane.
Perfect.
Merry Christmas. We had the little
holidays.
Anyway. You know what? I make a really good stuffing. I like an IPA with it because the stuffing is very unctuous. There's a lot happening, and I like to cut. I like to do this thing where you just because you don't really get you get just mouthfuls of everything, and then you cut it.
I know that word. I know that's a legit word.
Unctuous.
I'm always uncomfortable when it's with food. It's it makes
unctuous?
Good food sound nasty. Yeah.
Oh no! Unctuous makes food sound even better than it already is.
Wow.
But that's what I say. Anyway, with the snakes on a plane reference.
So thanks for joining us on this edition of Crafty Brewers, Tales Behind Craft Beer. Be sure to support your local brewery, especially during the holidays, because without your support, oh my goodness, it's going to get rough for some of your favorite brewers. And then you'll say, why can't I get that beer anymore? Well, because you didn't go to the brewery and support them. So tough luck. Crafty Brewers, Tales Behind Craft Beer is produced by award-winning producer Cody Goff. You can read our blog, grab some merch, check out our episodes, and get in touch with us on our website, craftybrewerspod.com. And if you have a brewery you'd like us to talk to, or if you are a brewer who would like us to come and talk to you and find out all about your story, then send us a note, craftybrewerspod@gmail.com. And now I will defer to the siren of social media, who is going to be handling the new evolution of Crafty Brewers Pod. Where are our socials, Catherine?
You can find us on Instagram. You can find us on Facebook. And yeah, maybe at some point we'll make our little YouTube community a smidge more active. So for right now, we're over there. Yeah, Crafty Brewers or Crafty_Brewers_pod. And then Crafty Brewers Tales Behind Craft Beer over on Facebook. Follow, like, share, subscribe. And if you're sharing pictures of your holiday dinner, please make sure you also are sharing your podcasts. That's how people know what to listen to, and referral is half the battle. Back to you, Max Headroom.
All right. And if you're looking for wonderful holiday gifts for the beer lover in your life, we have lots of fantastic merch at craftybrewerspod.com. Pick some up for yourself, treat yourself, or someone who loves beer and podcasts. Thank you all for your support this year. Season 2 will begin January 2nd with Dovetail Brewing. Cody, Catherine, I will give you the final words.
On my end, the only thing I have to say to close out 2024 is you all made this choice.
Oh, you're not talking to Cody and I? Because I was going to say, we didn't force you to move.
No.
You didn't make this choice. I'm talking to the world. You made this choice. You made this bet.
I know who she was talking to. I was trying to make a joke to
smooth it out. There's no smoothing it out.
Jesus.
The fuck?
You guys. You're triggering Catherine. She won't go outside anymore. I know that's not a gator, but it's close enough.
For Crafty Brewers, we're all a bunch of idiots. Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays. Do all of the things that you love. Please celebrate responsibly and support our local dinosaur.
We'll see you next season. Thanks. Cheers.
Cheers.
The dinosaur is sucking the microphones.